And in the Impact segment tonight, a brand new presidential poll from Fox News. It asked voters about possible presidential matchups in the fall. Hillary Clinton versus Donald Trump, 49-38, Clinton ahead. Clinton versus Cruz, a senator wins that one, 47-44. Clinton versus Kasich, the governor ahead, 51-40, fairly stunning. But not as stunning as this. Bernie Sanders versus Trump. Senator leads 52-38. Sanders beats Cruz 47-43. Sanders loses to Kasich 44-43, but that's a tie with the margin of error. Another key poll result, 49% say they'd be scared if Donald Trump becomes president. 33% scared if Hillary Clinton makes it. 25% Sanders, 21% Cruz. Just 8% are scared if Kasich wins. Now, pollster Frank Luntz. So matchups now, when they're not going head-to-head, I mean, they are in a way, but it's more primary. They mean anything?
They do, because it gives you an indication of what could happen on Election Day. But what I find interesting about this is that the so-called Trump Democrat, and there are them, and they deserve to be focused, these are people who believe that Trump is the right choice for president, but they won't vote Republican for the Senate. They won't vote Republican for the House. They are doing the same thing in 2016 that Reagan Democrats did back in 1980.
But that should be factored into this poll, because this is just registered voters. It's across the board.
Correct, and here's the problem. There aren't enough Trump Democrats to overcome Latinos, to overcome 18 to 29-year-olds, and to overcome younger women, because that is where Trump is weakest. And he's losing the traditional vote that they get among those three segments, and the Trump Democrats don't overcome that.
All right. We should mention that there was a head-to-head in the primaries in the Fox poll today. Trump, this is 49 preference, 41% prefer Trump in the Republican precincts, 38% Cruz, so that's in the margin error, and 17 Kasich. On the Democratic side, Hillary Clinton is surging, 55%. She was at 44 in February, 42% for Sanders. Okay, now I was surprised that Sanders beats all the Republicans. I mean, I don't understand that, because Bernie Sanders is a pretty radical guy.
And the funny thing is, they're not voting based on policy. They're voting based on personality. And that's what's interesting about a general election. In a primary, you got your liberals and conservatives. In a general election, independents, moderates, they matter. And they don't vote based on where a candidate stands on the issues. They vote based on integrity, character, someone who says what they mean and means what they say.
But really, I mean, Bernie Sanders is beating all the Republicans except Kasich, and it's a tie there. Bernie Sanders would...
I know it's hard to believe.
It is, for me, because even the dimmest Americans must understand, all right, that if a guy like that got into office, number one, he'd never get anything passed, right? I mean, who in Congress is going to vote for a socialist program? Nobody.
But they want someone who looks you straight in the eye and tells you the truth.
And the truth is, I can't get anything passed. And that's what they want. That's the truth.
But they want someone who's going to tell them. Look, compare Bernie Sanders to Hillary Clinton. She's the most inauthentic, the most manufactured candidate of the last 20 years.
And she's still winning the Democratic precincts.
Because she is so well known to them, because she wins African-American votes. But Bill, that's the difference between a primary electorate and the general election. That's why she can win a primary. But if this were a general election, if you open it up to independents, Sanders does best in open
So
primaries.
You think that if it were just between Democrats running for president, Sanders versus Hillary, Sanders would beat her?
Would beat her if independents could vote.
If independents could vote in the Democratic precincts.
Yes.
That's amazing. Now, if you were Donald Trump's campaign manager and you saw this poll roll in today, what would you tell him?
First thing I tell him, be on the show.
Be on the factor.
Be on the factor. Answer the questions.
Right.
And you just do exactly
what you did invite him today after Ted Cruz last night. And I don't begrudge him that. He was relaxing with his family in Florida. He needs a day off. I don't begrudge him that. What else?
The second thing is that what he did at AIPAC was very professional. It was a telepromptered speech, and it was prepared.
Right.
But he dealt with the key issues that the public wants to see. Third is that they need to know a few more details on issues like spending. What do you cut? Taxes, what goes down, and particularly foreign policy. The number one issue to independents is national security.
But he's pretty strong on national security. He's going to wipe out all the ISIS bad guys, and, you know, let me tell you, he's going to get them. Would you be concerned about a poll like this, or like me, would you say, look, it's not really valid yet because we're not in the general, he's not bringing it to Hillary Clinton, and that he's going to change a lot of minds in that?
I'd be concerned.
You'd be concerned?
Yes.
Why?
It's not too early, because voters will start to see the two of them as the nominees. And as the nominees, they begin to make choices. It is much easier to move someone who's undecided to your camp than to have to take someone from Hillary Clinton and bring them over to Donald Trump.
All right, so you would be concerned that he's so far behind, 13 points behind Hillary Clinton, it's going to be hard to make that up. Now, in the general Trump versus Cruz, okay, it's almost a tie now among Republicans in those precincts.
Right.
But the delegate count is way ahead for Trump.
I think Trump has to assume he's the nominee. Ted Cruz won't like to hear that. Cruz does not have a chance of winning a majority. Let's be clear. He cannot get there based on the states.
Can't get more than Trump.
He cannot.
Right.
But he can still hold Trump below the majority.
Right.
Here's the problem. If you deny Donald Trump the nomination...
Yeah, it blows the party up.
Exactly. And you'll have the most violent situation.
So you're predicting it's Trump as the nominee?
At this point, yes. But still, the challenge for Trump is to demonstrate to those who don't vote in the Republican primary, not that you're qualified, but that you're capable and credible.
All right, but he's frightening them. And poor John Kasich, he wins against all the Democrats, but he can't even compete in the Republican circles. That's interesting. Frank Luntz, everyone.